In this video, we'll discuss group polarization. When a group of like-minded people deliberate to make a collective decision, they tend to adopt a more extreme position after the deliberation than the position prior to the deliberation. In collective decision-making, deliberation sometimes does not balance diverse views, but rather generates a group decision that is even more extreme than any option presented before the group discussion. This phenomenon is called group polarization. It means group decision is more extreme than the group members' average initial choice. Group polarization defies the assumption that collective decision-making improves decision quality and generates wisdom of crowds, especially with diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. It is believed that making decisions as a group, especially in a group with members' diverse backgrounds, can push people toward consensus and the middle ground over the decision-making process. However, consistent findings suggest that groups, after discussion and deliberation, often leads to more extreme decisions than those that individuals would have taken on their own. One reason of the group polarization is that once a small number of group members favoring one option reaches the threshold of a tipping point, the rest of the group members quickly fall into line, creating a cascading effect. Even though groups generally do show pressures toward conformity, the tendency to side with the majority after group discussion turns out to be even stronger than this. Group polarization is especially severe for groups of like-minded people who typically make more extreme decisions as a result of deliberation. The rule of whether a group take a unanimous vote or a majority vote can make a difference in decision outcomes. To find out what differences a majority rule or a unanimous rule can make, Charles Miller conducted an experiment. He recruited 80 groups of people. Each group had 3 people. Each group made 3 decisions involving selecting an option out of a choice set. All options were arranged along a spectrum. Half of the group made decisions by a majority rule, and half by a unanimity rule. Each of the 3 members held a different position, with 2 group members, that is, member 1 and member 2, holding positions relatively close together on the spectrum of options. The 3rd group member held a position farther from the other 2. For groups under each decision rule, half of the members were informed of one another's preferences for the options, known as complete information condition, and the other half of the members had no idea what other group members' preferences were, known as no information condition. How did a unanimous vote or a majority vote can make a difference in collective decision outcomes? If you don't know your group members' choices, there is no significant difference in decisions under a majority rule and a unanimity rule. The blue arrow shows the average group decision at about 6.2 on the option spectrum. But if you are informed of other group members' choices, under the majority rule, the average group decision is at around 5.5 on the option spectrum. Group members 1 and 2 appear to find some common ground in the middle. But if you are informed of other group members' choices under the unanimity rule, the average group decision moves farther to the right at 7.4. The group decision is now closer to the position of the most extreme member than did under the majority rule. With these findings, do you still take pride in how great your group is because every decision made by your group is unanimous? Social motivation also introduces group polarization. People desire to present themselves favorably and be accepted by a group. Recall conformity effect. It refers to people's tendency to defer to the majority view and the social norms, even when they are blatantly false. In group decision making, exposure to other group members' positions offers an opportunity for members to adjust their own position to be consistent with the majority view. As people form their opinions on a political issue, their hostile feelings, such as fear and loathing for the opposing party, are so strong that they appear to be automatic. As a result, a shared social identity among party members make them vulnerable to group polarization. Group composition influences group polarization. Group members who share similar views tend to make a collective decision that is more extreme after deliberation than the average of pre-deliberation responses. In an experiment, juries composed of jurors with high dogmatism shifted their jury decisions toward harsher sentences after deliberation, whereas low dogmatism juries shifted their decision toward more lenient decisions after deliberations. A homogeneous group is a source of group polarization. When homogeneous group members meet regularly to reinforce one another's view, a group decision becomes extreme over time. Without sustained exposure to competing views, group discussions diminish individual differences in preferences and push group members' preferences to a more extreme position. If diverse views and preferences are so instrumental, then why don't people choose diverse group members to make collective decisions? Jennifer Eberhardt wrote in her book, Biased: Uncovering the Hidden Prejudice That Shapes What We See, Think, and Do. With diversity, we have growing pains, privilege shifts, roles change, new voices emerge. Diverse groups of people are not always the happiest group of people. Lincoln's cabinet was never short of bickering and jealousy. Moreover, it takes more time to make a collective decision as people argue for and against options in a choice set. It is much more efficient to make a decision when you have everyone agrees with you. The demand to justify our decisions in moral dilemmas can also shift our individual views toward the group views, making us vulnerable to group polarization. In moral dilemmas, there is no absolutely correct or wrong answer. To justify our decisions, we are motivated to shift our preference to the majority view in a group. In this video, we talk about group polarization. When a group of like-minded people deliberate to make a collective decision, they tend to adopt a more extreme position after the deliberation than the position prior to the deliberation. Now it is time for you to provide an example of group polarization and reflect on how it influences decisions made by you or the people around you.